and again, acting sergeant since Sergeant Rose's retirement. I believe that Officer Jones has demonstrated leadership qualities and a command presence suitable for this department, and I am recommending that the Board of Supervisors take a vote and promote Officer Scott Jones to the rank of sergeant.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Yay!
It's a tough part. And before we get into the swearing in, I think he's running for office, and he sent out letters to, this is the most people I think I've ever seen for a promotion right here.
Yeah, this is awesome.
That bodes well for you and your reputation in the community. Judge, I think you are up.
Officer Jones, you want to come forward with whoever's going to hold your... That be you? You can come up, too, with Mommy. Want to come up, too, with Mommy? Yeah. You can hold Mommy's hand.
Help her hold the Bible.
You place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the ordinances of Doylestown Township, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and enforce the law without consideration to a person's race, color, sex, religious creed, sexual orientation, age, national origin, ancestry, handicap, or disability. I,
Robert Scott Jones II,
do further solemnly swear that I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of Sergeant of Police with fidelity. Congratulations.
We haven't had this opportunity. We actually were able to come up with the images ahead of time. Usually it takes some time to get this thing. So I would like to turn it over to the boy. Hand it back over.
No. Stick them, Tess. Stick them. That's your chance. All right.
Good enough.
Congratulations.
You're all welcome to stay for the regular meeting. We know you're leaving. Figuring you have a party to go to, feel free. We'll give you time to depart. That's all right. You can be noisy now. Noisy's good.
That's all right.
Congratulations.
Good, how are you, sir? Fine. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like someone's going up that way. We can go either way. Let's go this way.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone. For which public hearing?
I know. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Bye, everybody.
Feel unwanted now.
Gotcha.
Nicely done, Chief. Goodbye. You can go for a few minutes. We don't need you. Okay. All right, going back to the regular meeting. Are any visitors or public comments? Okay, seeing none, hearing none. The next board meeting, or this board, is Tuesday, July 18th at 7 o'clock p.m. We're going to be closed Tuesday, July 4th for Independence Day. The Central Park basketball courts are going to be closed for all uses due to construction of the new municipal complexes, and you will also see they got temporary office space there, so you can't play anymore. Not for a while. We'll restore the courts when we're done with our project. Probably in about 18 to 22 months. Thanks for coming, Judge. Good to see you. All right, Thompson Performing Arts Series continues. We're going to have our next performance tomorrow with the Large Flower Heads, which is a Summer of Love tune group of people. June 28th is the British Invasion tribute. July 7th is the movie Sing. July 12th is the favorite Quakertown band, which is a community band. They play both acoustically and non-acoustically. They're an awesome group. July 16th is Big Romeo and the fireworks. So plan on being there. $5 a car. The park is going to open at 6. There'll be food. And the rain date, hopefully we won't need it, is July 23rd. 2017 discount park tickets. The park tickets are now available. Please do purchase them at the administrative offices in the front of the building. Leaf and yard waste recycling is the third Saturday of each month from 9 a.m. to 11. The drop-off site is the New Britain Road entrance to Central Park. And visit our website, doylestownpa.org, for more information. And the Environmental Advisory Council continues to sell magnets for $5 there in the front office in the administrative part of the building. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on June 6th. Everyone had a chance to see the minutes, review the minutes? One correction, I see.
On page 8 of the meeting minutes, the third item down, it says there, the pension committee recently held a meeting which details the actuaries were defined, and it really wasn't the pension committee that held the meeting, it was the pension subcommittee of the Ways and Means.
Okay. Good catch.
I make a motion we approve the minutes with that change.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is correspondences.
Yes, we received something today from the ladies of Mount Carmel. They have installed some signs. They have a rummage sale coming up June 26th to the 29th. And they have two signs which they say are in the township. One, I believe, is actually in the borough. But they're proposing one at Cherry Lane and 313. We have a $100 fee for things like that, and they are requesting that, as a nonprofit organization, we waive that fee for them.
Is there a motion to waive the fee?
I'll make a motion to waive that fee.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you please let them know that even though we waived the fee for the one, doesn't mean that we're waiving the fee for the borough? If the borough has one, because they might think that we're waiving the fee for the...
Absolutely, we will let them know.
Okay, excellent. Any other correspondence? Madam Manager?
I do not have anything else. Thank you.
All right. Solicitor?
I will have matters to discuss later in the agenda, but not at this point.
Okay. Mario?
Nothing at this time.
Chief?
Nothing. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to skip you. Maybe accidentally on purpose. Director of Operations.
You have a proposal to provide electrical service to the trailers on the basketball courts. It was a supplement to your packet that was on your desk. If you don't have it in your packet, it is a recommendation to award to
Granahan?
Granahan.
Yeah, to approve a proposal by Granahan Electrical Contractors of Doylestown to provide electrical service. That is the supply and install material from the street to the trailers and hook everything up. PICO will be providing the service.
Okay.
There may be additional fees by PICO to provide that service, but this proposal is the amount of $6,880. Recommendation for that to be
The
executed.
memo of June 16th indicates three other
Correct.
bidders, so this, I assume...
There
for the
was not a
record-
bid. We requested proposals for this work, but we did receive additional proposals, and they were the lowest of
Okay.
the
Just
four.
want that in the notes. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve this bid from Granahan, proposal from Granahan.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Anything else?
Yes, there is again, proposals for the Phase 1, that is the fleet maintenance, the police carport, large storage, large evidence storage at Public Works Building, construction, inspection, and testing services proposal. That we did work with Phillips and Donovan, and we received 3 proposals from Earth Engineering, Geotechnology Associates, and Underwood Engineering. Of that, we are recommending that the proposal for the Underwood Engineering and Testing Company be executed. This is right now kind of like a time and materials proposal. We looked at all proposals and compared, because right now we don't know what and how much inspection will be needed.
Okay.
Okay?
Understood. Is there a motion to approve the inspection and testing to Underwood Engineering Testing Company of Belmar, New Jersey?
Move to approve.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Manager.
Yes, in your packet, you have information that we've shared with the Doylestown Township Municipal Authority and Buckingham Township. Many of the board members may recall, almost 10 years ago, we were working with Buckingham on the Furlong water contamination, and we were hoping to be able to receive DEP grant money to assist in providing public water in that area of the township. And the board will recall that contamination probably goes back about 40 years or more. And unfortunately, there was not really a stable water source at that point in time. And in the intervening years, there's now, between Buckingham, a stable water source, and the potential for the DTMA to also work with the developer in the area to bring a water line into the area as well. Ragesh Patel from DEP was out recently, met with us, indicated there's still funding available in the HASCA funding sources if we provided him with information as to what it would take to bring water and serve the area of properties. In total, there's about 42 properties. Several of them who were contaminated have since cleaned up, but there's still a number of contaminated parcels. There's probably about 6 in the township. Fred Ciatoni, the engineer for the DTMA, has put together the attached proposal, and the way that would break down, and we've shared this with DEP, the public portions that would be shared between hopefully Buckingham and the DTMA would be $691,600. That hopefully will be shared equally or in some equitable fashion. The remainder would be almost $690,000 or $688,400 from DEP. Obviously, things will have to be discussed further if that funding from DEP doesn't come through. But they have this proposal, and Mr. Patel is sharing that with the DEP board at this time in hopes that we would receive a grant. There's nothing for this board to do at this point in time. Obviously, if the funding source comes through from DEP, we would probably enter into a tri-party agreement similar to the one that we did in Cross Keys many years ago when we did the Cross Keys water project with the other municipalities. And our hope is that DEP would look favorably upon this project and we would be able to bring public water to an area in need.
This is a great project. We tried to get this underway 10 years ago, and Buckingham just didn't have the water across 263, so perhaps now we can do this. I totally support this.
This is, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I just
I
wanted
think
to
we all
have a couple clarifications.
Consensus is we want
Is
this
this
done.
based on, this is the cost of running just the laterals from the main to the homes? Or
This would be the cost to bring laterals as well as the
water
pipe
source.
and the water source of the fire hydrants in the area. So piping as well.
does not include going from Cherry down to...
No, that we're hoping is going to be borne by another party.
Right.
But with interconnections with, and it would provide interconnections, especially for an emergency source of water, with Buckingham Township. So there would be some interconnections and things, but it would be able to take that pipe, say, from the Rogers Road and 263 area. It would bring it down through the properties and up along Edison Furlong Road to the parcels, just that last parcel that's outlined on the map. It would run it up about a quarter of the way.
Township side. Township side.
Actually, Buckingham, it's outlined on the Buckingham side in blue in your map, would be this parcel.
So
right
when
there.
you're going along the parcels, I mean, are we going,
The water line would be in the road and both sides would be able to connect. Sorry.
when you said you're running through the properties, what properties are you running them through? I thought you were running them through Doylestown Township properties.
Yeah, on the, when it comes down, it cut, I believe we're going to get the easement, and they're going to cut through, it'll either go into 263, or it'll cut through the couple parcels that abut 263.
To Edison Furlong Road, they're
To
running
Edison
down
Furlong.
Doylestown Township side.
Running downtown.
That's what that was my question.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Clarifying.
All right, thanks for the
A
information.
couple more. Would this, would the 42 residents be mandated to hook up?
Yes, because there's contamination in the area, they would be mandated, that would be a specific area just for those properties. That was a requirement from DEP when we did the cross keys. And those board members here at that time might recall that that was a requirement because of the contamination, and DEP would probably make that a requirement of the funding. So at this point, we sit, we wait, and keep our fingers crossed we get the funding.
Well, we also need,
Buckingham has to agree to work with us again and partner. But obviously, I hope that if DEP comes to the table with money, that all parties would see the benefit of that and could work together like we have in the past.
right. But it's also
Keith
dependent
Haas
on...
is here, I'm Executive Director of the Authority. I just noticed you in the back, I apologize. If I misspoke or where the lines are going, did I get it right? Okay, good. So,
It's also dependent on development going through.
Not this. Not this project. This is,
it will tie in.
Well, it depends on Grasso going. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, if we don't get the line from Grasso, then we may have to take a different
it's,
tack.
you could still do this without Grasso.
You can, because you could work, you'd bring it in from the Buckingham side, correct, Keith?
Facilitate it if you have.
Correct.
Yeah, it facilitates it, moves
Yes,
along a little easier,
yes.
but you could still move this project along, working with Buckingham, bringing water from the Buckingham side.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Stephanie?
No, I have nothing else at this time.
No, good
It's-
project. I'm glad to see this moving. This is a long time coming, like you said, Bart. This is good.
Okay, supervisors. Start with Sean. Do you have anything?
Yeah, briefly, Park and Rec, again, please come out to the Performing Arts Series. Chairman Lyons mentioned the schedule, so please attend when you can. Our EAC this Saturday is our monthly weed and maintenance program from 9 to 11. Bring gloves if you can. As many people as possible would be great. Also, the EAC has entered the PA Horticultural Society's garden contest again. Last year we submitted. We didn't win, but we got a lot of great feedback. We're hoping to build on that this year, and they have. Volunteers have done a lot of good work, but we knew that helped this Saturday do the weeding and even expanding into the new section. And the numbers officially for the electronics, the e-waste that was collected, was approximately over 9,000 pounds. I know we were waiting for the results for that. Additionally, in the upcoming months, we're working with a couple residents that came to our last EAC meeting inquiring about some joint projects down potentially near Kutz and some other areas we're discussing, meadows and such. So if you're interested, come out to EAC meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Rick?
Yes.
Anything?
Yes, I do. Following up on what Stephanie said, if you recall, last year or so, we were really looking into DTMA to grow, start expanding the pipelines, et cetera, et cetera. And if you remember, in fact, you saw in one of the newspapers the other day that the Knoll project on New Britain Road, they mentioned how they're working on an agreement with us to get that extended. You also got an email that Del Val is interested in us taking a look at least at operating and getting more involved in their water system. The reason that you're getting all this information and the reason we're presenting it here tonight is our agreement with DTMA is that the board, us here, have to approve all of these ventures. So if there's no opposition to any of them, and I haven't heard any in the past, that's deemed to me that is approving for the DTMA to go ahead with these projects.
What are you asking?
Not asking anything. I'm just saying if there was no opposition, we're deeming that as approval and we're heading forward. If there's opposition, say, hey, we don't want you to go to Del Val because we don't like how they spell the university.
You have an agreement with DTMA about approving projects.
I don't know what you're asking us to do. What are you asking?
I'm not asking you. I'm saying
You're saying if we say nothing, that means we're approving?
I'm deeming that as approval to go to Del Val and to go to Knoll properties in the past and to go to, excuse me, the different areas. Once we alert you to that, you are notified, and we, at this board, can say, we don't want you to go to Del Val University.
Let's do it another way. Is the board, do we all come together with the consensus and go attaboy to DTMA about pursuing the Knoll project?
We already approved that.
No, I mean, you did.
No, the board did.
You're asking us to say...
This board already approved that.
Okay, so we're also suggesting, and I think you heard, that the project in Furlong is also something that we're supportive of.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if you want to make that a formal, is that where you're heading?
No, I'm asking you what you need. What do you...
I'm sorry.
I'm hearing a negative
confused
thing,
because
yeah.
take the Furlong water. We don't even know if that's going to be a project yet.
Right.
So when we have a project, it'll come forward and we'll approve it and let's go forward.
But when you look at it, let's take Del Val, for example.
Right.
Keith is out there doing things.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we need approval from this board.
Correct.
I don't want to get 3, 4, 6 months down the road, him saying to Del Val, we can operate, we can do this, comes back and we say, we don't like Del Val.
So right now you're asking for consensus?
A consensus to
Okay.
DTMA continue with the projects that we've alerted you through the emails and through today and the other
I think
board
there's a
meetings.
difference on consensus to proceed versus approving the project. Consensus to proceed is say, gather more information, get the feedback from Del Val, come back when, if you want it as a go, then come back and say, we have a project. Do you agree?
That's not the way, and Jeff can chime in, but if Keith goes to Del Val and they say, can you operate this, DTMA meets on it and says, yeah, we can do it, blah, 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 it's
We'll
a
take
done.
care of this. What do we need to
Well,
do?
but I think you need some official notification, however, as to the scope of the project and what you're being asked to consider. I don't know that just an email saying, hey, we got this going on, what do you think? I think it needs more formality than just an email from somebody
Right.
saying, what do you think?
And you can't assume silence or opposition from this board is acquiescence to the project. I think we need something a little more, a more formal presentation and ask us to pass on it, approve it, or what? I don't know what you're asking us to do right now.
I can speak for myself. I say, from what was presented, I would support proceeding with the work as it's being defined, which you just described.
Correct.
So I'm good enough to go forward.
I think we're all
Yes,
there.
I think
Yep.
we're okay with that.
But don't assume if we say nothing, we're approving it, because that's not what we're doing.
Then if I understand Jeff, when this gets, I'll say further down the road, let's say with Del Val, just for sake of argument, whether you want a formal presentation to the board.
We just want to hear from Keith.
I don't know that
and ask
there's
her-
a
just tell us what's
presentation. I
happening.
think you provide adequate notice to the board for a public discussion, so that isn't just attributable to an email that somebody may or may not have gotten. So, because there are contractual rights between the township and DTMA,
Right.
I think the most important thing is to make sure that all parties are properly notified, understand the scope of what you're trying to do, and then each party can
Sure.
respond according to the agreement.
Sure. And there may be bits and pieces, there might be a contract with Del Valle University, there certainly might be a relationship with Buckingham Township that has to be developed. So, yeah, we are involved, so.
So at this point, it's a go. Keith is going to come back and...
Keith, you have to go to microphone, please. Sorry.
At this point, just to be clear, we don't have any,
Microphone. Thank you.
we don't have any acceptance of any proposal that we have sent over yet.
Correct.
So, yes, we are trying to encourage a relationship with Del Val, but as of right now, there is nothing else to report on, so.
Okay.
Yeah, just to make that clear.
Thank you. All right. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Ryan?
Sure. I have 3 quick updates. First being regarding Kids Castle. In the past, 2 weeks, we've got $35,000 through private donation and grants. And, so things are really chugging away with that. Bike and Hike met this morning. And if you're driving down Lower State, you should see that the Lower State Trail is underway. So that will connect us into the borough from 202. It's a really important part of the trail system, so it's exciting. And we're hoping by this fall that will be completed. And then finally, just going back to our discussion last meeting on the communications policy, TAB met on Monday. We really talked about the idea of what happens regarding an emergency situation within the township. I sat down with the chief this morning. We talked about that as well. And really where we are right now, the chief was very open to kind of working with us with a policy that we may put in place as it pertains to emergency communications. So the TAB board, essentially, we're going to go back and try and craft something. You know, it's going to take a couple of iterations. We'll have to work with Stephanie and the chief to make sure we have it right, but we're going to put something together so we know we have a media plan, a communications plan when an emergency arises within the township. And that's all.
Thank you.
I just have one question regarding Bike and Hike.
Yes.
Did the committee talk today about Pebble Hill?
Yes.
And?
So we talked about Pebble Hill, the need for the request to put chevrons in the bike with chevrons in the road. I know there was opposition met from the traffic committee regarding that. I think, Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we kind of left it as we're going to focus on the trail.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
You okay?
Yes, because it was brought to our attention when Andy came to the traffic committee, and there was some discussion about it that a couple of years ago there was some chevrons put down against the advice from the traffic committee.
No, that's not going to happen.
Make sure we're all in alignment.
Yep, that's not going to happen.
That money from the Kids Castle, was that inclusive, including the proceeds from the golf outing?
No, that was a couple. They gave $25,000 and a $10,000 grant from Foundation's community partners.
Good.
Yeah, so that was outside of the Kids
We don't know the proceeds from.
We do not know that total yet. Yeah.
All right, good. More to come. All right. I gave on your table in front of your chairs is a resolution regarding House Bill 1010. Now, this is produced by the Cato's, very supportive of this. House bill is putting electronic gambling in bars and taverns throughout the Commonwealth. Now, we have little authority over this, but part of this resolution, not for consideration tonight, I just gave it to you for information, because I just got it yesterday, is really to have local control over where those things go. If we don't want them at the barn, plaza or whatever, we would want to have something about it. Kids Castle. At bars where they sell alcoholic beverages. So that's just for your consideration. I'm cautious about giving us information or activities that are beyond our jurisdiction, but I thought you'd take a look at it before I say no to it or yes to it, that we all consider it for the next meeting. Okay?
Yep.
So it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting. The other thing is, we met with Penvest, our special counsel, Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority the other day, had a very fluent and vivid meeting, and we have a great timeline outlined. One of the things that's going to happen at our next meeting, besides approving, hopefully, the ordinance that establishes the sewer district and the 252 homes that are going to be served by the sewer installation, is a contract between Bucks County Water and Sewer and the township authorizing Bucks County Water and Sewer to build the system. In addition to that contract, we will be provided with a facsimile of what happens when we borrow the money from Penvest. The money, it's at some point, at conclusion of the project, ever after it's all been constructed, the debt will be transferred to Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority. That will appear just as a facsimile addendum to that contract. So I just want you guys to be prepared for that. Not only are we going to be looking at an ordinance, but next month, July 18th meeting, the contract. The other thing is, I learned from Bucato, Bucks County Association Township officials, that there's some issue with coming, and I hope our people in planning are looking at this, about the wireless systems that are being attached to Crown Castle, that are being attached to our poles, and developing some legislation or some ordinance.
In place.
Yeah, we already have an ordinance
So
in place.
is
that something that is taking care of the Crown Castle problem?
Yes. No,
We were ahead of the curve.
they're not rolling over,
Rolling
but
that
we have the regulatory ordinance in place.
Just want to make sure that we're good to go on that,
that last
because
year.
I know the borough's struggling with it right now.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the curve, we have regulations in place.
Excellent. That's all I got. Anybody else? Moving on to the conditional use for the riparian corridor hearing.
If I may, as you know, the Township Administration has filed an application requesting conditional use approval to construct sanitary sewer lines within the riparian corridor conservation district. For properties that would be affected in part would be tax parcels 9-7-110-1, 9-7-71, 9-7-71-2, 9-7-84-3, 9-7-59, 9-7-84-3, that's twice, 9-7-83-3, and 9-7-84. These properties have already negotiated with the township the grant of easement, so there's not like anything is happening that they're not aware of. Number two, notice of this hearing was advertised in the Intelligencer on May 26 and again on June 2, 2017. As I noted, the township is requesting conditional use approval to construct the sanitary sewer lines for the sewer project within certain aspects of the riparian corridor conservation district. The application is incorporated by reference into the record, and I would ask if anyone desires party status. I see no such interest, so Ms. Mason, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes, we are. At this time, I want to ask, I guess I'll start with Judy to go through the corridor management plan, because that's a big aspect of
That's a
the
condition,
distribution.
and
Yes.
you need to be sworn, Judy, so.
Yes.
Solemnly swear the testimony about to give will be the true self you got.
I do. Okay, I'm going to
Why
give
don't you
you,
provide a description just as to why we're here for conditional use, what's being proposed, and what the impact of the management plan is on that process?
okay, we're here for conditional use because the sewer lines for the sewer extension for the Pebble Ridge, Woodridge area of the township goes through what is called the riparian corridor. The riparian corridor is an area adjacent to streams and waterways within the township along specific named waterways, of which this is one. The 9 properties in question contain a small bit of riparian carter, and we do need to cross through Zone 1 and Zone 2. Zone 1 being the area closest to the stream or waterway as defined by the ordinance in Section 175-103.3, and Zone 2 being the area within the riparian carter farthest from the waterway. The sanitary sewer lines are permitted by conditional use, again, why we're here, and that's Section 175-103.4. To give you just a scope of the project, in Zone 2, the sewer lines are running through or parallel to the stream through Zone 2 for a total distance of 1,985 feet on those 9 parcels in total. The number of crossings in Zone 1, and there are perpendicular crossings across the stream, if you will, in Zone 1, total 6, and those 6 crossings are a total of 195 linear feet. One of the requirements, actually the main requirement of obtaining a conditional use from the riparian carter district is that you have a riparian carter management plan. That's in accordance with Section 175-103.9, and I do have a plan prepared. It's been submitted to the township. I'm just going to hand it out quickly, if that's okay.
Okay.
We'll make that as Exhibit T1. And would you provide a copy to the stenographer if you have enough?
And if you don't mind, I'll sum up the Carter management plan for you so you don't have to read
Please.
the entire thing.
Thank you.
Basically, it says that the area that will be disturbed will be restored immediately. It will be restored appropriately for the riparian carter, and that will be an Ernst conservation mix, actually Ernst floodplain mix. It includes native species, it's grasses. This is not an area where we could plant shrubs or trees because we will be in a sewer easement, so it's appropriate grasses and sedges for the riparian carter, floodplain tolerant, wet tolerant, and can handle adversity and stress. It also says that that area will be maintained as vegetation. It specifies how often that area should be mowed, which is not as often as you would mow a lawn, and in what seasons it should be mowed, and to avoid the nesting time of birds. That, in short, is the restoration plan. There's not much really happening. We're putting a pipe in, we're restoring the land.
And is it fair to say that in the absence of the grant of conditional use that the project cannot proceed?
That is correct.
Thank you. Anything else, Judy?
That was it, thanks.
Board questions?
No?
No.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Garten, we also have Jim Maticola from Gilmore and Associates.
You want to present him? Is where you're going to ask him?
Yes, and he's going to present the plan that shows the parcels that are impacted and where the Zone 1 and Zone 2 are, that will match up with the plan that Judy just presented in terms of the restoration and conservation.
Mr. Maticola, do you have a small copy you can provide later to the stenographer and to the township besides the large plans?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can do that after the fact if you would.
Okay, absolutely. Yes,
You solemnly swear to testify about the will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you identify yourself, if you would, for the record?
Yes, James Maticola, professional engineer. I work for the firm of Gilmore and Associates, Inc.
You've been working on sewer projects most of your career, is that a fair assumption?
That is a fair assumption,
And
yes.
you've been involved in this project as well, correct?
I have, yes.
Okay, so would you, as Ms. Mason asked, would you show the locations where the riparian corridor will be affected by the installation of the sewer lines?
Absolutely. I have a copy of a plan here up on the board here, which is entitled Index Plan, and I'll be referring to that plan for the next few minutes. What I've shown on the index plan is I've colored in the areas in orange that are impacted by this application, conditional use application. And if I could just very briefly describe the project and why we are requesting this approval. The project basically is split pretty much down the middle by a hump, in other words, a topographic hump, so that everything on the right side or the easterly side of the project area drains toward the east, toward Alms House Road, and toward the Neshaminy Creek. All the properties on the west side of the hump, to the left of the plan, drain toward Old New Road and Lower State Road. Those properties are going to be served by a pump station that's going to be located on Lower State Road. In order to gain access and allow the properties to drain toward that pump station, we need to put in these storm sewers here, sanitary sewers that are located within the riparian corridors that Judy just referred to. So we have these two areas in here that are crossing streams in riparian corridors, and on the right side we do have this location, which is a sewer that ties into the Neshaminy interceptor. This drains the whole right side of the project, which is the easterly side. So this is also going through a riparian corridor. So those three areas are the areas that we require the relief for.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the crossings, you need to get DEP permits, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
And none of these, other than the crossings, are in wetlands, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Anything else?
Good to go.
Thank you. Any other testimony?
No, we have nothing else to present.
If the board was inclined to approve the conditional use, it would be approval of the application subject to compliance by the township with the riparian corridor management plan dated June 13, 2017.
Any questions from any of you out there? Seeing none, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the request for the riparian corridor conditional use?
Move to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
I
you.
would note that I'll prepare a written decision for your actual manifestation of your decision today.
Thank you. All right, well done, everybody. All right, medical marijuana.
The next item,
ordinance.
we go from sewers to marijuana. The next item is the board, as the board knows, the state legislature and the governor signed the appropriate statute authorizing the production and dispensing of medical marijuana within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The locations of those facilities by state law, townships can regulate that, but you can't regulate the manufacturing or growing in a manner different than you would if you were talking about another industrial use. Same with respect to dispensaries. They need to be treated much like you would treat a similar use. The state law enumerates a series of regulations and restrictions. So the township, in an effort to make sure it's adequately regulating dispensaries and facilities for the manufacture and processing of medical marijuana, has authorized the advertisement of an ordinance which is, like I mentioned before, is pretty much a mirror image of the state statute, and it shows the locations where dispensaries and processing, manufacturing and growing facilities can be located. Judy is here for the purpose of answering questions. The ordinance has been duly advertised in the Intelligencer. A copy was provided to the Bucks County Law Library. Comments were solicited from the Bucks County Planning Commission and your Planning Commission, so I think it's appropriate to conduct a public hearing, and if you have any questions of Judy, she's here to answer them.
Does anyone have any questions of Judy? Its ordinance is pretty clear cut. It mirrors what
You
you
do have to
said.
conduct a public hearing.
All right. We're opening up the discussion to the public. Any questions from the public regarding the ordinance, which outlines the rules about where dispensers can be located, dispensing facilities can be located, and where growers can locate their facilities. Everything's pretty much restricted to dispensing in medical marijuana in C1 and C2, and then for growing and processing in LI, in the LI district. And
Light
that's pretty
industrial
much
district,
light industrial. Thank you. So, any questions, comments? Hearing none. Any questions or comments from the board?
No?
Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the ordinance?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're good to go.
That
Thank
finally
you.
is all that I have to bring forward tonight.
Okay, we have 3 resignations from the dog park. They're dropping like flies. I'm going to ask that the board approve them in tandem, A. Popick, Adamski, and Lefebvre. Their resignations were included in your files. I think a couple of them, or at least one of them, has moved out. Not sure where the other 2. Is there a motion to accept the resignations from those 3 individuals from the dog park committee?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the approval of the bills list from the June 20th list. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting of this board is Tuesday, July 18th at 7 p.m. We're going to be closed Tuesday, July 4th for Independence Day. The basketball courts are closed until further notice. You see temporary housing on top of them, but at least 18 to 24 months they'll be unavailable to the public. Thompson Performing Arts Series continues with Large Flower Heads, which is a summer love band. Tomorrow, British Invasion is on the 28th of June. July 7th is the movie Sing. July 12th is the Quakertown Band. July 16th, and fireworks is with the Big Romeo. That starts at 7 o'clock. There's a $5 fee for cars, and park opens at 6 p.m. Rain date, we're not going to need it, is July 23rd. Discount park tickets are available now. You can get them in the front office, or you can purchase them online. Leaf and yard waste recycling is the third Saturday of each month, 9 to 11. Drop-off site is at New Britain Road, entrance to Central Park. And go to our website, doylestownpa.org, for more information. And the environmental advisory magnet sale continues. $5 are out front at the administration offices. We're going to adjourn right now to interview for auditor vacancies, and then we will reconvene following to conclude the meeting. So for now, we're adjourning to the back of the room to interview.
You don't need anything else.
We do not need any further assistance
Have a good
from
night,
our
everybody.
professional people. You're all excused. We are reconvening the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors from June 20th, 2017. The board just retired to a conference room where we interviewed several candidates for the open position of auditor to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Joe Savisco, who moved out of the jurisdiction. The board interviewed Robert Redco, Michael Pulaski, Kelly Gallardi, Stan Drury, and Kevin Hurley. Mr. Hurley has taken himself out of consideration, and the board is left with considering Stan Drury, Michael Pulaski, Robert Redco, and Kelly Gallardi. The chair opens the candidates up for discussion.
I nominate Stan Duryea to fill his position.
Is there a second? Your nomination fails for want of a second.
I nominate Robert Repko to fill the appointment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I guess we can call the question, or should they ask if there are any other nominations?
Yeah, any other nominations?
Any other nominations?
So we got one choice.
Well, do you have any other nominations?
No, I already did mine.
We can have another.
No, Stan was with my nomination. I'm fine with that.
Okay, good. All right, we'll call the question on Robert Redco. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's done. All right, so you'll notify the candidates? Yes, we will. Thank you very much. All right, and no other business before the board. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
There are documents to be signed,
Okay.
and there are checks. You know he'd find them.
I got them.